So what I'm filming here for you guys is the power consumption of a Viver 5 kilowatt diesel heater. I would imagine it's fairly similar for most heaters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have this up here, and I got my voltmeter coming through here. This heater has not been started in roughly a year, I guess probably 10 months or so. So it is a cold start. It's going to be pulling the most it will. We got the amp meter set up here to see how much it's drawing, and then I got the timer, and then we can get a bit of a feeling for how much power it's going to draw on startup, shut down, and on low and high. And I'll probably do middle setting as well, just so we get a bit of an idea. It's currently -4 Celsius out. I think that's low 20s ish, low to mid 20s Fahrenheit. So without further ado, let's start my timer, and we'll get this going. Turn that right up to high to start. It's gonna take a minute to start here. We're gonna get our drawing, and I got the timer so we know how long it draws that. So at the end I can do a bit of a calculation for how much it draws. So we'll just let this go here for a little bit, see how much it draws before it starts going. So we're right at about 8 amps. The fuel pump's not going yet. I'd imagine it's just probably getting the glow plug going in there. Fuel pump slowly going. For a minute and a half, still pulling just over 8 amps. Hitting 9 at times now. We'll see if we ever hit 10. Just over 2 minutes. And the glow plug is off, so we're dropping down now. It is smoking a tiny bit here, not a whole lot. Still cold air coming out. Still cold based on this. Temperature slowly coming up here. Creeping up higher. I can start to feel the heat coming on it, so we're still powering up, I think. So at roughly 5 minutes in, we are still heating up, but I would say that we're past the initial heat up stage, and you can see what we're pulling amperage wise. So as you can see on full startup, I don't think we hit 10 amps. I mean, you might see otherwise when you review the video, but just initially viewing it, I didn't see 10 amps. So I think this would work with a lot of those the portable power sources. I run mine off a battery. But what we're going to do is I'm going to let this get up to full temperature. I'm going to get the amperage off it once it's at full. Then we can kind of calculate how much power it's going to run with startup, shutdown, and everything like that. And you can know how much power you're going to need to run your heater for a while. So I'm at full power here. I guess this is where mine's going to kind of max out. It's been bouncing between 196 and up to 200 a little bit. You'll see if I come over, that's my voltage. I am on high. High for me is 6. You guys may have different heaters and stuff, but for me, high is 6. So it's on high. We are up to temperature, and we'll kind of get a bit of a reading here. So let this run for a little tiny bit. You can kind of get an idea of where it sits. Anywhere from 2.6 up to, it bounced up to 3.5 roughly, 3.4, 3.6 there, I believe, quick, 3.6. So this is running on high. So what I'll do is I'm going to turn it down to low. We'll let it run on low, and then we'll get a bit of an idea for how much power it will run on low. I'll come back with some numbers at the end of this. I'll have it probably written on a sheet of paper or something. Like I say, I'll come back with some numbers. I will give you estimates on how long or how much power it draws on low, middle, and high. So the snow is really coming down here now. Not that it really makes a difference, but we're kind of leveled out. We're on 168. We've got up to 170 a couple times there. You can see we are on heat setting 3. I just got my glove covering here to keep the snow off this. And you can see how much power we're drawing on number 3. 1.4, up to 2, up to 2.1, 1.4, 1.7. So it gives you a bit of a rough idea how much we're drawing on heat setting number 3. So I'm going to go down to low now. We're going to let it run there for a bit. I'll let it even out, and then we'll see how much power we're drawing on low. So we have our heater on low. It's kind of settled out right around here, 140 to 142 roughly. I'll just show you what's on heat setting number 1. And here's our draw on it. For the most part, under an amp, and then it will spike up a little bit. But again, for the most part, it is under an amp. 0.79, 0.77, up to an amp. Back down to 0.73. And then just for the heck of it, let me go in Alpine mode. Sorry, I held that wrong. We'll go in Alpine mode. We'll see how much that drops. So in Alpine mode, I'm actually not noticing much of a drop in the shield depth. I'm not noticing much of a drop in the amperage pull. Come back up here, see what our temperature's at with that. Down to 138, 140. It dropped a few degrees, but our amperage pull hasn't really changed much, at least not noticeable with this. If you had it in a watt meter, one of the plug-in ones, or just a different way of measuring it, I guess, you might notice something. if you had like one of those inline battery bank things, you might notice it. I'm gonna go off this and just notice if I see a difference here. I'm gonna go off. I really don't see a whole lot of a difference between Alpine mode and just regular low. You can hear the pump speed is different and the temperature is a little bit lower, but the power draw is roughly the same. Back on Alpine. So there you have it. There's roughly your power draws. Like I say, I'm going to tally everything up to give you guys a bit of an idea of how long they'll last on each setting. That way you know. And I guess one thing I should do actually is I'm going to turn this off. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get my phone up and going here again. Okay, we're back. So I had to get my phone ready here again. I'm going to turn this off. And then once it's turned off, we're gonna measure the amperage draw, see if that goes up, and kind of measure how long that lasts for, so you can get an estimate of how much power it takes to shut down. So we'll start this, turn this off, and then we'll come over here and see what this does here. So the amperage is going up. You can see the time in the background there. I think that means the glow plug might be on. But we're at 7 amps still. 8 amps. I can hear it cooling down. And we're pretty much off there. The amperage went down around a minute. Fan's still going. I am going to shut this off. Once the fan comes back on, I'll quickly turn this on and just let you know how long it took. And you can see the rough power draw as it sits there, just with the fan going on low to cool down the interior case there. Oh, just before I do that, it is ramping up here. So it's obviously doing something different. You can hear it. Is it getting significantly cooler here? I think we're shutting off here now. You can see this has dropped off. And the fan just shut off. So we'll call it 4 minutes it takes to shut down. Again, I'm going to come back to you guys with some rough numbers on a sheet of paper or something, just to let you know roughly how long this should last for you, and how much power draw on each setting, so you know how big a battery you might need or how long you can expect it to last based on what you currently have. I think we're shutting off here now. You can see this has dropped off. And the fan just shut off. So we'll call it 4 minutes it takes to shut down. Again, I'm going to come back to you guys with some rough numbers on a sheet of paper or something, just to let you know roughly how long this should last for you. and how much power draw in each setting, so you know how big a battery you might need or how long you can expect it to last based on what you currently have. So I am finished the test and I've run some rough numbers. Don't take these as exact, as they are a little bit of an estimation. So on startup, it ran for approximately 2 minutes and 10 seconds at 8.5 amps. When you break that down to amp hours, that is 0.307 amp hours, or in watt hours, it is 3.687 watt hours. On high, it was running at approximately 2.8 amps, so that's 2.8 amp hours, obviously, or 33.6 watt hours. On medium, we were running at 1.7 amps, or roughly 20.4 watt hours. On low, we were 0.85 amps, or 10.2 watt hours. On alpine low, we were at 0.75 amps, or 9 watt hours, according to this. And so there's not a big difference between low and alpine low. Shut down around 8 amps for approximately 1 minute, or 1.33 amps. And then it had the runtime of the fan, which I have this calculated in. So the total shutdown power usage is 0.219 amps, or roughly 2.68 watt hours. I hope that gives you a rough idea of how much power these diesel heaters draw. I don't know if they all draw the same. I would imagine they're probably fairly similar, but this was for the Viver 5 kilowatt diesel heater.